Okay, welcome everyone. Looks like we're live now. This is what day is this? 19th, February 19th, 2017, uGameHub.com, uh, United Games FireFan Hangout for this Sunday, actually, here in the United States. We do these Hangouts once a week, this time period, 1 p.m. Central Time here in the United States. So if you're watching this on one of our YouTube channels, one of our web pages, or elsewhere, or even listening to one of our broadcasts on one of the radio stations we broadcast on the internet, thank you for checking in, whether you're live or on replay. Just want to say thank you for taking the time to check in with us today. Again, today's going to be a brief hangout. I'm riding solo again. We've got my fellow comrades with other plans, family plans, health, with family issues and stuff. So families first. So they're taking care of business like they're supposed to be good men. And I'll give you the content we have today. And we're going to discuss a few things. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl now that it's over, and this is the first time we're back since then. What a game that was. And there's some interesting aspects about that I'm going to enlighten a lot of people too, as I was enlightened to them. And also share with you a little bit about NBA today, as well as March Madness that's coming up. Now, I've been kind of out of the loop myself a little bit and haven't been, keeping up to date like I should. I check my game stuff, almost on a daily basis, but I've been really, really busy with work and some other transactions or issues that have kept me away from normal stuff that I do here. But I want to talk about March Madness. It's really important. And that's probably going to be one of the most fun times for this app, to use this app. And especially if you're in brackets, if you're in one of these brackets, that you put in with your buddies or your friend, cashier friend, so to speak, that before the March Madness, the big NCAA tournament starts, we're actually going to do a bracket here. And it's going to be interesting. Now, the app is another thing. FireFan, getting it ready, I'm off the loop here on whether they're going to be able to do the March Madness or not. But it'd be a shame if they can't get it in. But anyway, we will do a bracket here because we're right now researching, and we actually have been for the last 3 weeks on college ball. And there's going to be this year, for whatever reason, well, I'll get into that here in a minute. But this year, the number one team has changed so many times, and there's the matchups are just going to be crazy, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. But let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, what a game that was here in Houston, and safe time. Weather was spectacular. First part of the week was really nice. It rained a little bit towards the end of the week, but what a game that was. The interesting thing about that whole game, was that, of course, everybody wanted, Atlanta to win, and Atlanta got out to a 28-7, I think it was, or 28-3 or something, or 2010 maybe, I don't know what it was, lead, and this was halfway into the third quarter, and I've watched that game several times because a friend of mine had a real long conversation with this guy, and he told me, that after that game was over, Brady made a comment that he my buddy didn't believe that they actually won the game, because if you were a gambler on that game and you had Atlanta, I'd be willing to bet. Well, I don't even talk about how many people went crazy, but I'd be willing to bet there's probably I'd say a couple thousand at least, 10 more, I don't know, of gamblers that stopped gambling after that game, because what New England did to win that game was unbelievable. And it has a lot to do with their coach. It has a lot to do with their quarterback and the mindset of all of the athletes that are on that team. You also had to have the mind, of the other team in the gutter. And up 28-3, your mind's not in the gutter. You're out partying already, on the sidelines. You saw that with the owner. You see that owner dancing in the chair up there in his little suite box. Then you saw him down on the field, in the fourth quarter. that guy learned a lesson, a big, big, big lesson. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is this: is that New England, Brady made his comment that he said there were about 30 or 40 plays there at the end of the game, the last 30 or 40 plays. If any one of those plays goes wrong and they don't succeed, then the game's over. So, and I watched that game, and I mean, yeah, obviously several times, but I went back with that mindset of what he said, and he's true. It's accurate. I don't think it would be 30. I think it would be there was probably about 15 plays there at the end of the game that if one of those 15 plays didn't get executed properly, then the game's over. The game's over. And what Brady wasn't factoring in was some of those plays he was talking about. It was like 2nd and 10, so he wasn't factoring he would have had another choice or another chance or opportunity to play again. But there were like 15 plays that were if the receiver dropped the ball, they didn't make the first down. If Atlanta doesn't fumble, if Atlanta doesn't get called for a penalty, it was just unbelievable. But here's the and I'll shut up about this. Here's the main story about the learning or the what's the word I'm trying to find? The takeaway, of this game. Brady reached a new plateau, and there's no way you can argue he's the best quarterback, has been. He is the best quarterback. He's got the most rings, the most titles, and everything else. And so there's no argument there. But here's the takeaway of it, and that is, I watched his demeanor at the beginning of the game, and his demeanor at the beginning of the game was much different than it was at the end. I mean, he was going about business at the beginning of the game, but at the end of the game, he was working very, very, very hard, to achieve what he wanted to do. And that's the story about this last Super Bowl that I learned, is that, it's not easy. Even when it's given to you, it's not supposed to be easy. 6 Super Bowl rings. Do you think they're going to give you the 6th one for free? You think it was going to be a slam dunk, walk away, 50-0 score? No, it's not how life rolls, man. He had to struggle, he had to work hard, he had to earn it, and he did. And he did, and that's really the takeaway of that game. That the difference between good and great is significant. The difference between great and excellent really isn't that much, but the rewards are. The rewards are this much. The work is this much, and Brady knows that. Personally, my belief, and I'm not really a big New England fan. I do like his story. They may make a movie out of this, I've been told as well. What's next year going to be like? Why will they make a movie on 6 when they can make it on 7 and 8 and 9 and 10? Who knows? But we'll wait and see. I thought it was a good game. Everything went well here in town. But I got to tell you, I didn't have any money on it or anything like that. But if you were wagering on Atlanta, you have to be just nauseous, and I'm guarantee there's tens of thousands of nauseous people, out there. Anyway, my heart bleeds for you, so to speak. Anyway, all right, going into NBA season's getting started. We're here playing a few of those games here. The main thing we talk about and stress so much is the pregame. You got to get that pregame in, and I would do that first thing. That's what I do first thing when I get to my desk in the morning. And before you leave to work, get to your desk at your office, wherever you're at. The very first thing, just spend 5 minutes, play the pre-games, and you're done with it for the day. You're going to score, depending on how many games there are, a couple hundred points to 1,000, depending on how many games there are. You just can't, so, and the trick is on the pregame is click the top left. You're holding your phone here, top left. I'll just hit those top left buttons. They're the lower, typically they're the lower percentage, but they're the highest frequency of being hit. So I've learned that in trial and error. So go there, and we'll talk more about NBA in the weeks ahead, because they're having their All-Star break here in just a little bit. It's in New Orleans, and I don't know if anybody's been to an All-Star game. But in the last probably 5 or 6 years, it's a big rapper fest. and down there on Bourbon Street. I was just down there about a month ago, and there's a ton of construction going on down there, like there always is, I guess. But they've really, Bourbon Street is not just one street anymore. It used to be Bourbon Street, Royal Street, in St. Charles, and a few of these other that border it. But now it's that whole quarter. It really is a French Quarter, and it's not just Bourbon Street. It's 4 streets to the left and 5 streets to the right, and all the way from the St. Charles all the way to the back to the river. And anyway, but it's pretty much a rappers fest. So I hope everybody stays safe and everybody has a good time. But I guarantee it'll be a big party in the Big Easy. That'll be a lot of fun to be down there. A lot of fun. So be a good game. Score 200 to 205 maybe. Who knows? They don't play much defense in those games. So and local guy will get the, what's his name, the fellow there in Pelicans, plays with the Pelicans. He'll get the deal. But that'll be a lot of fun. A lot of good food, a lot of good eating, and a lot of good parties down there for sure. Let's talk a little about in closing. We will keep this kind of short, but for the March Madness coming up, those of you that play these brackets, and everyone plays a bracket really, we're going to have before March Madness begins, we will have, or the hangout the Sunday, we might do a special one, I don't know, but certainly we'll have it the weekend, or prior to the launching of the first game of March Madness. We'll have our bracket up, and we'll put it up on the screen so you can see it and freeze it, be able to watch and take it off, and jot it all down. But we're currently going through all the games right now, and this bracket's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of big different games because you don't know who's going to be matched up against who. And when you start breaking it down, you got Gonzaga, which plays a specific type of game on the West Coast. Is in a bracket over there. You tie them up with Miami, which has its up and down, or maybe Notre Dame, and especially if the game's being played, in South Bend or down in Miami where the brackets are. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Also, ACC could have as many as 12 or 14 teams in the SEC or the ACC go to the March Madness, through the big dance. They say the first it was going to be Kansas, Villanova, Gonzaga, and I think the other one was North Carolina or Duke, but neither one of those are going to make it. Xavier, is playing very, very well right now. There's a few other ones that are, that are up there that you really kind of wouldn't expect. But there's a couple of really good teams, that are peaking, peaking really, really good right now. And Georgia, who would have thought that? LSU's got a horrible team this year, basketball. And there's a few other good ones. Baylor, but I don't think they're going to have 2 Big 12 teams in the as number 1 seeds. They got to have all ACC. Those teams are unbelievable. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that we're going to have a bracket and for everyone to show, and hopefully FireFan app will be able to get that for the March Madness as well. So that's really all I had for today. From Richard and John. Thank you guys for viewing in wherever you are around the world. Again, we do these hangouts, once a week, this time period, 1 p.m. Central Time here in the United States. We try and take it for a half hour, 15, 20 minutes. I'm just riding solo today, and other guys got family stuff they have to take care of. But what we do here at uGameHub.com is teach people how to maximize the playing points and gain the most playing points, which leads to tickets and all the other stuff, tokens and everything else, with the FireFan app. And the biggest advice we can give to everybody that is very simple is play the pregame. You got to play the pregame and play all the pregames, whether you're watching that game or not. Play all the pregames. And your score, your points will rack up significantly. Even if you just got to click. Like I said, the key is left top corner button. Whatever they give you there, just click it. you know, and you'll typically score the most points if to do that. If you want to just go through every one and evaluate which one you want to take, you know, it'll probably take you another 20, 30 minutes, you know, but you know, get you. Sometimes I don't have time for that, so just the upper left corner click, and you'll be done with it in 3 minutes, and then on to your day. So, and you can come back and do it, check in the next day and see how many points you scored. So that's our biggest advice: play the pregame. So thanks for checking in with us again. Again, if you're watching this live or on replay, we certainly appreciate your time checking in, or even listening to one of the radio stations we broadcast on the internet. Thank you for checking in with us. We'll be back next week. I'm not sure what the topic is. Let's see. I think I had it up here. Soccer. Soccer's the topic for next week. We'll see what that is. We may have to change that. You know, there's so much basketball going on right now, the NBA, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. We've got a lot of good soccer fans, and those games are actually fun to play. You know, they're just, believe it or not, they're kind of, I think soccer's a little boring. Most Americans do, but you know, when you play with this app, it actually goes pretty fast. So, because they're constantly moving. Anyway, thank you again, viewers, for checking in. We'll see you next week. Stay safe wherever you are, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.